Are you a student who is going to start the IB diploma program in the coming year? You must have chosen one of the 4 options for mathematics: analysis and approaches, or application and interpretation, either HL or SL in one of them. Whichever course you have chosen for mathematics, you are expected to have a thorough knowledge on certain concepts before entering the course. These concepts are listed by the IB in their subject guide for mathematics as prior learning topics. The topics covered here are numbers, algebra, functions, trigonometry, geometry, statistics, and probability. The concepts listed here will not be taught in your DP lessons, and not knowing these might slow down your learning process in DP maths classes. Hence, I have decided to walk you through all these concepts as quickly and as effectively as possible in the next few videos. I will cover 1 or 2 topics in one video and give a brief explanation of each concept. If you need any detailed explanation of any concepts, you will be directed to the links to that video in the description box below. Welcome to Ganitika.com. This is a website for mathematics lovers, learners, and leaders. This is the second video on prior knowledge for IB Maths AA, AI, both HL and SL, and this video deals with the topics under Algebra. The first topic under Algebra is about algebraic expressions. Under algebraic expressions, you need to know factorizing algebraic expressions, expanding them, rearranging them, and evaluating them by using some values for the variables. So algebraic expressions are combinations of numbers and variables. You know that already. We are going to have a quick look on these 4 topics here. First is factorizing and expanding. We'll do this together on examples. So let's consider an example like this: 2x plus 3xy. You know this already, so I'm going to go a little faster on this. So split the terms as factors: 2 times x and 3 times x times y, and collect the common terms, write them out of the bracket, collect the remaining factors from each of the terms and put the sign in between them as in the question, and write the remaining factors from the remaining terms and finish the bracket. So this is how you factorize an expression. Now if you want to expand this, x times 2 is 2x, and use the same symbol as in the question, and x times 3y is 3xy. And you can notice that this is the same as the given question. So if you factorize and expand again, you will get back the question, and this can be used to check whether your factorizing is correct or not. Next, one more question: 9x square y minus 3xy square. Expand them as factors and collect all the common factors and write them all together. And the next factor is y, and open the bracket, write the remaining factors from each term. Use the same sign as in the question and complete the bracket here. And this is the factorized form of the given question. Now if you expand, you should be getting back the original question, which means your factorization is correct. Let's continue with rearranging. Rearranging means arranging the variables in such a way that you are getting the variable that you want to the left hand side. And in other words, we can say we are isolating the variable. In this case, I want to isolate x. So the first thing you will do is to expand the left hand side. 2ax plus 2ay equal to 4a minus x. The next step is to bring all the x terms to the left side because we want to isolate x. So every x term should be brought to the left hand side like this, and the remaining terms should be left on the right hand side. Collect the common factors from the left hand side and factorize. Collect the common factors from the right hand side and factorize. So factorize on both the sides. Now you need to isolate x from the left hand side, which means you need to divide both the sides by 2a plus 1. So 2a plus 1 and 2a plus 1 in the left hand side cancels, and you will get only x in the left hand side, whereas in the right hand side you will get this expression. So you have isolated x to the left side now. There is no x on the right hand side. So you have made x the subject by rearranging the terms. So these are the 4 steps involved in rearranging and making a variable as a subject. Let's do one more question. Try to do this question yourself by pausing the video here and come back to the video to check your answers. Now I want to make y the subject in this case, which means I want to isolate y. Both are the same statements. So first of all, we need to have expressions on both the sides of the equal to sign. Therefore, I will cross multiply by 2y minus 1, which means I am multiplying both the sides by 2y minus 1, making a simple equation like this. Now expanding the left hand side and the right hand side if needed. In this case, there is nothing to expand on the right hand side. We just need to expand the left hand side only, and then bring all the y terms to the left side and all the remaining terms to the right side. and then collect and factorize both the sides wherever possible, and then take away whatever is left over with the y on the left hand side, so that isolating y will be possible. So in this case, y is equal to 5 plus x over 2x minus 1. I hope you got this answer when you did it by yourself. One more example. T is equal to 2 pi root of L over G. This is a formula from physics. Now I want to isolate G, or make G the subject, which is inside the square root. The first thing I need to do is remove the square root from G, so that I can make G the subject, correct? So in order to remove the square root, I need to square on both sides. When I square on both sides, this is what I will get. Now I need to get rid of the G in the denominator. For that, I'll multiply both sides by G, so that I'll get this expression. Now I don't want T square with G, so I'll divide by T square. Now I can see that G is isolated. So G is equal to 4 pi square L over T square. In the beginning, T was the subject of the formula. Now we have made G the subject of the formula. That is what we do by rearranging the terms. Next is evaluating, which is very simple. Just substitute these values in the given expression and you can simplify and find the value. So pause the video here, substitute all the values given above. X is equal to 3, y equal to negative 1, a equal to 4, b is half. Just substitute them in the variables given in the expression, simplify and get the answer. Are you ready? I'm going to give you the answer now, substituting them, simplifying them, and this is the answer you should have got. There is nothing to explain here. Next, I'm giving you one more expression, slightly difficult, and see if you are not making any mistake in substitution and simplification here. So substitute the value. X is equal to 3, y equal to negative 1, a equal to 4, b equal to half. Remember here b is half, therefore 1 over b will be 1 over half, which will eventually become 2. So this is actually 1 over 3 minus 1 over 4 times 2. Simplifying this, you will get the final answer as 1 over 6. So this simplification can be done in any way you want. So this is under evaluation of expressions by substituting the values given for each variable into the expression. So more on expressions. Next is exponential expressions, where you have power of a number. First of all, we will talk about positive exponents. So for positive exponents means the power is a positive number. The base here is 3, the power is 2. So 3 to the power of 2 is 9. We have learned these things already. I'm going to have a quick look on these things. 4 square is 16. But 1 over 2 to the power of 6 will be 1 over 2 to the power of 6, which is 1 over 64. So half to the power of 6 is 1 over 64. This is something that you need to learn now. Now I'm going to give you a problem, 2 power x minus 1. Find the value of this for these values of x. Evaluating positive exponents for the 3 different values of x. Pause the video here, finish the question and continue with the video. Now I'm going to give you the answers. X is equal to 2 makes 2 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is 2. And x is equal to 3 makes it 3 minus 1, which is 2 square, which is 4. And x is equal to 5 makes it 2 to the power of 5 minus 1, which is 2 power 4, which is 16. So the value of 2 to the power of x minus 1 when x is equal to 2 is 2, when x is equal to 3 is 4, and x is equal to 5, it is 16. So you must have done this easily. Now let's proceed further. One more thing you have to remember before going further is any number to the power of 0 is equal to 1 always. So 2 power 0, 3 power 0, 5 power 0, whatever power 0, it is always equal to 1. Remember this always when you are doing exponents. Next is simple evaluation with rational exponents. This is for higher level students only. What do you mean by rational exponents? When you have the power as half or 1/3 or 2/3 or 3 over 2 or something, any fraction on the power is called a rational exponent. In this case, you can see that 2 to the power of half is nothing but square root of 2. Therefore, 4 to the power of half will be square root of 4, which will be equal to 2. 8 to the power of 1 over 3 is cube root of 8, which can also be written as 2 in this way. And 2 to the power of 3 over 2 is square root of 2 to the power of 3, which gives you square root of 8. All these things again you must have learnt in earlier years. But what you need to remember here is all the rules of exponents that you have learnt before. So remember all these rules and you can take it down in your notebook now. So these are the rules that you need to remember on exponents. If you have any doubt on algebraic expressions, go to ganitika.com, log in with your username. Once you log into this website, you can see that your name comes up here, and then go to contents page Under contents page, you have all the topics that are here in this website. For example, you have algebra topic. In algebra, you have 3 sections, 1.1, 1.2 and 1.3. Under 1.1, you have the units on algebraic expression. It starts from introduction of algebraic expressions all the way to simplifying algebraic expressions. So if you have any doubts on algebraic expressions, which you must have learned in grade 7 or 8, you can click on this link, which will take you to the page for algebra 1.1, and then you can click on any of these units. For example, if you want to understand more about algebraic expression on simplification, you can click on this unit and it will take you to that unit, and you can read through these units and you can solve these questions that are given, and you can check your solution with the solution box here. And you have more questions to do by yourself and check your solution, and detailed explanation is also given about simplifying algebraic expression. And you can go back to the top and then you can click on any of the links here to learn more about these topics. Hope this helps for you to understand more about algebraic expression. Next is algebraic fractions, addition and subtraction of algebraic fractions. This is similar to fractions with numbers. There is nothing more in it. It's the same thing that you do with numbers. You have to do it with algebraic expressions as well. So for example, if you have x over 2 plus y over 3, what you do with numbers is you make the denominators as same, right? So here also you make the denominators the same by multiplying by 3 in the first expression, multiplying by 2 in the second expression. So you will multiply the numerator also with the same numbers, so that this will make it as 3x over 6 plus 2y over 6, making the denominator same. You can collect the numerators together and write it like this. This is how you add or subtract. If there was a subtraction in between them, you will put the subtraction sign in between the answer as well. So it's the same with addition and subtraction. The main idea here is to make the denominator the same. So try to do this question yourself. Make the denominator the same. Now multiply the numerator also with the same expressions. So you will get this as 2 expressions here with the same denominator. Collecting them together, you will get this as your final answer for the addition of the 2 expressions given. Now the third expression is slightly complicated. Try to do this and continue with the video. Multiplying the first expression by y plus 1, multiplying the second expression by x minus 1, you will get the denominator to be the same. And you can collect the fractions together in one numerator. And now in this case, you can actually simplify the numerator by expanding both the terms and simplifying them. So this will be your final answer for the given question. And do not expand the denominator. Keep the denominator as factor form itself. One more question, slightly more complicated. Try to do this yourself and then continue with the video. Multiplying the first expression by y plus 1, the second expression by x plus 1, you will get this expansion. And you can see that you can actually expand and simplify the numerator, right? So expanding and cancelling out, you get 2 of xy's and 2 negative ones, right? So the expression on the top will be 2xy minus 2. The denominator is x plus 1 times y plus 1. Keep it as in factor form. 2 times xy minus 1 divided by x plus 1 times y plus 1. You can leave the answer in this form for the given question. So let's continue further. Next is equations and inequalities. Under this topic, you need to know how to solve linear equations and linear inequalities, how to solve quadratic equations and quadratic inequalities, how to solve system of equations with 2 variables, which is also called simultaneous equations. So these are the 3 things that you need to know under equations and inequalities. We'll see this one by one. First of all, linear equations. Linear equation will be of the form y equal to ax plus b. For example, 2x plus 3 equal to 4. You need to solve this linear equation. Solving means finding x value. In other words, it also means isolating x as you did in the expressions before, right? So in this case, if you want to isolate x, you will take the 3 to the other side by subtracting 3 on both the sides. So you will get 2x is equal to 4 minus 3, which is equal to 1. And dividing by 2 on both the sides, you will get x is equal to half. This is very simple. You know this before itself. Now let me proceed with linear inequalities. So when you have linear inequalities, you will have either less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. These are the 4 options you have for inequalities with linear expressions. So we will take an example. 2x plus 3 is less than or equal to 4. It's the same as you did for equations. You have to simplify this and make x the subject. But while making x the subject, you will have the sign less than or equal to instead of equal to here in the answer. The same goes with greater than. You'll solve this in the same way as you did for equation, but the final answer will be x greater than half, which means you have a set of solutions. All the x values which are greater than half will be the solution set for this inequality. For all linear inequalities, the solution is not a single answer like in linear equations. There will be a set of values. But you need to be careful when you have negative coefficients for x. For example, 3 minus 4x less than 1. Now you will take away the 3 by subtracting 3 on both the sides. This will give you the inequality negative 4x is less than negative 2. Now you are going to divide by negative 4 on both the sides. Here you have to be very careful. When you are dividing or multiplying an inequality with negative numbers, the inequality sign changes to the opposite sign. Say for example, in this case, less than becomes greater than. So you will simplify both the sides, but the inequality in between will be greater than. So x greater than 2 over 4, simplifying this, x greater than half will be the answer for the given question, 3 minus 4x less than 1. Be careful when you have negative coefficients for x. Next is quadratic equations. Any quadratic equation would look like this. You have 4 methods for solving quadratic equations: factorization method, vertex form method, quadratic formula method, and graphical method. We'll be doing one by one quickly. You must have learned this in previous years, and you don't have to panic if you have not learned it. You'll be learning more about this in DP classes as well. But we'll have a quick look on each of the methods here. Factorization method, let's consider this example. For factorization method, you need to find something called product and sum. Product is found by multiplying these two numbers. In this case, it's negative 6. Sum is the middle number here. So in this case, it's negative 5. What you need to do is find two numbers. When you multiply these two numbers, you will get the product. When you add these two numbers, you will get the sum number here. So you should be having two numbers which on multiplication should give you negative 6, which on addition should give you negative 5. Choose two numbers like this. So the best choice is 1 minus 6. So 1 times minus 6 is negative 6. 1 plus minus 6 is negative 5. Therefore, you will choose negative 6 and 1 in this case. Change the middle term into negative 6x plus x. Remaining terms will be retained as it is. Now simplify this by collecting the first two terms and then collecting the next two terms like this. Now you can see there is a common term here which can be collected out, and then the remaining terms can be made into another factor. Equal to 0 is important here. Only if you put equal to 0, you can split this into two linear equations like this. Once you split this into two linear equations, you can find the values of x for each of the linear equations. And these are the values for the solution of the given quadratic equation. So for the given quadratic equation, x is equal to 3, x is equal to negative half are the solutions now. Vertex form. So you have to convert an equation into vertex form first and then solve the equation. So for example, you have 2x square minus 6x minus 5 is equal to 0. In this case, since you have a coefficient with the x square, divide this whole equation by 2. So by the coefficient of x square divided by that number, which gives you x square minus 3x minus 5 over 2 is equal to 0. Now take the 5 over 2 to the other side, making the equation look like this. Now you have the negative 3 in the center. What you need to do with this number is you have to negate and divide by 2. So minus of minus 3 over 2 will be 3 over 2. What do you do with this number? Keep the expression like this that you have now, but you add the square of this number to both the sides. 3 by 2 the whole square on both the sides. Now what you do is collect the terms like this. Put the bracket, put x, use the same sign as here, and bring the number that you have squared and added on both the sides and make a whole square here. The reason for this can be explained in your classes in more detailed way, but here I'm just giving you how to do this. So I'm not going into detail about why this is happening here. For that you can go into ganitika.com, which I will explain soon. And for the right hand side, you can simply calculate what the value is. So this is what you are going to get as an equation here. And before going further, you can see that this is of the form x minus 3 over 2 the whole square minus 19 over 4 equal to 0. This is vertex form method. So if you write the quadratic equation in this form, this is called vertex form. So you are using the vertex form to find the solution of the given quadratic equation. After this, it's easy to find the value of x, square root on both the sides. So you'll take away the square on the left hand side, and you will have plus or minus square root of 19 over 4 on the right hand side. Take the negative 3 over 2 to the right side, making x the subject. So this will be the solution for the given quadratic equation. 3 over 2 plus root of 19 over 4, or 3 over 2 minus square root of 19 over 4. Again, this will be more explained in DP classes as well. So you can just relax on this if you haven't learned this before, or you can go to ganitika.com and learn more about this. So next we will see quadratic formula method. You know, this is the simplest method you can use for any type of quadratic equations. So consider this equation. You need to just find out what are the a's and b's and c's in this equation and then substitute in the formula. That's all. I'm going to go quickly on this. So substituting in the formula and simplifying this, you will get the value of x to be 1 over 3 or negative 1. You can pause the video here and try to do it yourself and check with this answer. Going further, graphical method of solving quadratic equations. Now this is the quadratic equation. You need to plot them on a graph, x and y axis. If a is positive, the graph would look like this, and the points on the x-axis that it crosses will be the solution for the quadratic equation. So x1 and x2 will be the solutions for the given quadratic equation. If the value for a is less than 0, which means the coefficient of x square is a negative number, the curve will be looking like this, and again the points where it crosses the x-axis will be the solution for the given quadratic equation. This is the method for finding the solution of quadratic equations using graphs. Continuing further with quadratic inequalities. So this is the quadratic expression. Inequality will have either greater than or equal to 0, greater than 0, less than 0, or less than or equal to 0. Any of the 4 options could be there in this place. But before going into inequality, you have to first solve the quadratic equation, making them equal to 0 first. Once you solve the quadratic equation, then you have to draw the sign diagram. The sign diagram is very simple. You have to consider the coefficient of x square, which is a, whether it is positive or negative. If it is positive, the graph looks like this. The positive y values will be on either side of the solutions, and negative y value will be between the solutions. Whereas for a less than 0, the graph would look like this, which with the opposite signs. Now you have to consider these two values as the solutions, x1 and x2 for both the cases. And if the value for y is positive, you need to give these two as your answers. If the value for y is negative, these will be the answers for a less than 0 questions. And for x between x1 and x2, it is the y value is positive in this case, whereas the y value is negative in this case. So these are the 3 sets of solutions. X less than x1, x greater than x2 is one set of solutions, and x between x1 and x2 is another set of solutions. According to a greater than 0 or a less than 0, you will see whether it is positive or negative and where it is positive using the sign diagram. Now let's consider an example and do one quadratic inequality question. So consider this example. 2x square plus 5x minus 3 greater than 0. It is strictly greater than 0, not equal to 0. Remember that. Now solve for this. Pause the video here. Solve this equation by any of the methods that you just learned. I'm going to do it with factorization method, and therefore I'll get x is equal to negative 3 and x is equal to half as the solutions. Now sign diagram. You can check the coefficient of x square. In this case, coefficient of x square is 2, which is positive. Therefore the diagram would look like this, and the positive signs are on the either side of the solutions and negative is in between the solutions. And these are the 2 solutions that we have to represent on the diagram. And we want positive y value, right? Therefore it should be on this side and on this side. So these are the 2 set of solutions for this inequality. If you haven't learned linear equations, linear inequalities, quadratic equations or quadratic inequalities, go to the contents page in Ganitika.com again. Go to Algebra 1.2. In here you have all about linear equations, and in 1.3 you have everything about inequalities, both linear and quadratic inequalities in this chapter. You can click on this link and it will take you to the page 1.3 and 1.2 as you want, and you can click on any of these links to go and read about the topic that you want to learn more. So you also have videos under this sections, and these video links are also given in the description box below. Next, we are going to deal with the system of equations with 2 variables, which is also called simultaneous equations. In this case, you have 2 equations with x and y, and you need to solve them both. In order to solve these equations, there are 3 methods: substitution method, elimination method, and graphical method. For substitution method and elimination method, you can check Ganitika.com. But for graphical method, I'll show you how to do this just now. Going back to Ganitika.com, under Algebra 1.2, you can see that there is a chapter called 2 linear equations. So go to the page 1.2 for Algebra, and then scroll down, go to 2 linear equations unit, and this is the topic for simultaneous equations, and all the explanation is given about all the 3 methods. Matrix method is not done now, and you don't have matrix for IB, so we are not doing this matrix method, but we'll do all these 3 methods. Very well explained videos are also here. The link to these videos are given in the description box below, and you also can check your understanding by solving these equations and checking the solutions here. Now let's see how to do graphical method for solving system of equations with 2 variables. First of all, you need to make the axis x and y axis, and then draw the two equations. This is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2, and look for the point of intersection of these two lines, and this is the solution set for the given equations. So x comma y will be the coordinate of the point of intersections. X comma y will give you the x value and y value for the two equations together, which will be the solution for the system of equations. So let's summarize what we just had in this section. You had algebraic expressions, factorizing, expanding, rearranging and evaluating, and also you had exponential expressions, simple evaluation of positive exponents, simple evaluation with rational exponents. Rational exponents come only for higher level classes. And under equations and inequalities, you have to know how to solve linear, quadratic inequalities and equations, and also system of equations with two variables, simultaneous equations. And you also should know how to add or subtract algebraic fractions. If you are ready with all these things, you are ready for your DP Maths classes. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel. Like and share my videos with your friends and families. Thank you very much.